internet, or you can sell it like open a shop and maybe start selling. But what are the advantages of selling on web and involve the internet? So you have the opportunity to increase revenues. How's that? If we involve e-commerce, or if we involve the internet, based on the trend, the amount of people who have been using the internet and buying products online, it is very, if you compare it from a shop or to a e-commerce site, you're pretty sure that the e-commerce will definitely have an increased revenue when we compare it to a shop. Ability to expand into global markets, because the internet is global, it's all around the world. We can expand, and we have an option of expanding into a global market. Ability to remain open 24 by 7, as compared to a retail store or a shop. You can you can be open 24 by 7 on internet. Anyone can buy a product at any point of time. Capacity to use the web to enhance customer service. So in case of a retail shop, a customer might get disheartened and move out of the shop, but you will not have the opportunity to ask them what went wrong. But if you have a site, there a lot of sites have this, that if the customer or the user is moving towards the cross mark or trying to close the website, it gives you a feedback form asking what went wrong. Was it that you were looking for searching for something that you did not find, and such questions. So we can, using these questions, we can also enhance the customer service. The customer gives us a feedback that, I was looking for shoes, but I did not get the exact shoe that I was looking for. We can always reach out to them via their email and ask them that, what was the exact shoe that you were looking for. We can help you out with it. Part to educate and inform. So using the internet, it becomes very easy to involve a lot of people, educate them about the product and the site, and we can also inform and market so that we have a lot of consumers. So it gets very easy using the internet. Ability to lower the cost of doing business. When it comes to retail store, you have to pay the rent, you have to pay the electricity bill, a lot of the tables, chairs. But when it comes to the website, all you have to do is maintain that website. Of course, a lot of time and money is involved in that as well. But as we compare it to a retail store, the cost of doing a business is actually lowered. Ability to spot new business opportunities, because you're on the internet. There are a lot of marketing strategies and a lot of other business. So while if you're probably into shoes and some other company is into say another pair of footwear, you can always think of another new business opportunity to collaborate. So you can have an entire range of footwear and you can sell it together. So using the internet, you can always spot new business opportunities. Part to track sales result. So if you have a retail shop, all you rely on is probably a register or the receipts, or some data. But to analyze that data, a lot of manual work is required. So you do know that, okay, last month that I had a sale of say 10,000 rupees, and this month I had a sale of 8,000 rupees. You just know that how much sale did you have, but you don't know what went wrong. But when it comes to the internet, the site will tell you that there are multiple tools, and this you can analyze that. Based on this data, you can analyze that why did you get 8,000 rupees only this month as compared to last month. So that's why it's better to have an e-commerce site rather than a retail store. Online buyers trend through the years. Now, this is a little comparison from year 2000 to 2016. If you see on your left is the percentage of total retail sales, and this is how the e-commerce sales have been hitting through the years. And if you see, the retail sales have gone from 1% to 8%, although the e-commerce sales has been doing very well. Now we would just check what happened here in 2000 to 2002. Now, if you see that the retail was a good 1%, and the e-commerce was probably not as good. Why is that? Because at around the time of 2000 to 2002, 3 out of 4 companies did not have a website. They relied on having retail stores and having more and more branches of these retail. But the retail generated is really low, like 1 to 2%. Why is that? That's because even though there was a lot of revenue generated, there was a lot of manual tracking. Back in 2000 2002, we did not even have a good access to internet or database where we could actually store all our data. And that was the reason, even though maybe we were making more money, but we ended up realizing that the profit was probably not as exact as it actually was. So although uh, 2000 to 2002 was probably low on e-commerce, the retail sales were pretty high. Importance of service on web. So I'm sure most of you have experienced this, that whenever you go on online and look for a products, sometimes you find something on Amazon, sometimes you find something on Flipkart, and there are times when you find the same thing on both, but choose one over the other. Why is that? Because you have a trust. Say, I personally have a trust on Amazon over Flipkart. I feel that Amazon is going to give me a better quality of service. And sometimes there are sites where I log in and I look for something and I get frustrated, and because I didn't find the right product, and I get out of the site. So what are the reasons you know that the customer can get frustrated and leave the site? One of the reasons is the site is too slow. So and if the site is too slow, the first thing you think is maybe something is wrong with the internet. But the internet's working fine, but why is the product taking so long to load? One of the things in e-commerce is I have to see the images of the products. If I don't see the exact image, or even if the image is not loading or the site is too slow, it can be really annoying, and it can make you leave the site. The site looks unprofessional. So if the site, if I look at the site in my head, I think of the title and then I think of the products. Now, if I'm looking for a dress and I search, say, red dress on on a site, and it starts to give me shoes and black dresses which are absolutely not related to what I want, then it can make me frustrate, and I can leave the site. The site does not take cards. There are a few sites which say only cash. So again, that is something that makes me as a customer think that why do they want only cash? Is the quality going to be bad? No return policy posted. Now, as we've told that the e-commerce lacks the feature of the fact that I cannot see the product while I'm buying. I can't feel the product while I'm buying. So if there is no return policy, it makes me doubt the quality of the product again. So that is why I can again get frustrated and leave the site. Coming Okay, coming to what web shoppers want, retail customers versus business customers. So retail customers would always look for competitive prices because they take something on a wholesale. So they would definitely want competitive prices, somewhere where they have to invest the least amount of money. Well designed presentation so they can understand what are they buying. They can understand as much details as possible about the product. Good selection, as in good choices. Reliable shipping, because it's a lot of good. They do not want anything to be missing. There should be an on time delivery because it's a retail customer, so they will have, as soon as they get out of stock, they would have to fill in the stock again. Easy ordering, because retail customers, I don't expect all of them to be very well versed with how to operate a computer or a website. So the task should be really easy, and they should not get, irritated with with a lot of processes. Customer support is important for every e-commerce site because you know it is a mode of feedback. So if the users are not finding something or they have a problem with something, if they reach out to customer support, it's a feedback for the business or for the site, and they can grow better. Valuable product info, as much as product info as possible to make the site better. Privacy policy, that this is very important. uh, you know uh, like something that has happened recently with Facebook. You realize that Facebook was taking a lot of your data from your phone, and from it was taking cookies out of everything that you browse. So every site should have a privacy policy pasted. It should mention clearly about the kind of data it will be using, of the user, and not violate that policy. If a site says I am only going to take your name, email, and your browser cookies, it should stick to that. It should not try to get the data of your contact list and things like that. User-friendly navigation, yes, again a big plus. It should be really easy to navigate through the site. I should be able to see everything in at a glance. It's not one of the best if I have to go up and down, scroll up and down to see the entire site. As much as I can see in one single screen, it's going to be one of the best user-friendly e-commerce site. The business customers are pretty much the same. The only difference is that the ordering differs, because for a business, the on-time delivery is more important than the competitive prices, because business guys probably have more money and they can invest more money than a retail customer. So their focus would be an on-time delivery over a competitive price. Factors to consider before launching into e-commerce. Now, suppose you decide to have a site on e-commerce. What are the things that you should consider? First thing is how a company exploits the web's interconnectivity. You should understand that what you are trying to sell should be related to the internet, and I mean it should be. Now, suppose if you're trying to uh, fix something, like if you're trying to open a retail site of fixing computers. Now that is something that you can get involved with on an app like Urban Ladder. Like if Urban Ladder has a condition where if someone can call a person home to fix a computer, but you can't really open a site for fixing computers. So you should understand your requirement before, in fact, moving into e-commerce. Developing a deep lasting relationship with customers, it's very important that you develop a relationship with your customers, because that is what is going to give you a profit. So you have to understand if my idea is going to give me everlasting customers. Again, the idea of fixing a computer. Now, if I understand that this person probably had issues with the customer, with the computer, so he came to me. Now, the next time he has an issue with the computer, he's again come back to me if I give him good service. But this person is not going to be coming very often because it's a computer. It may or may not break after some time. So it's again, that's not something which you would wish to put into e-commerce site, because if you're planning to put something in e-commerce, it has to be involving with a lot of lasting relationship customers, like where customers are really involved and they will come back to you uh, every 2 days, every 3 days, as often as possible. You have to remember that having an e-commerce site is an ongoing process of investing resources. You will have to invest a lot of time, money, energy, and your talent, and you have to be mentally prepared for it. In order to make your e-commerce site a success, you have to have a constant measure of how the site is doing, and you have to track your success. Okay, now suppose you decide to, you have a clothing brand and you decide to start an, an e-commerce website. What is the first thing we do? After you have analyzed whatever we talked about in the last slide, first thing we do is we understand the internet service providers. So the internet ISPs can include internet access, internet transit, domain name registration, and web hosting. So now ISPs can be, now that you know everything is moving into cloud, so you can go for AWS or Microsoft Azure. And one of the things you have to choose, like a lot of factors are involved while choosing an internet service provider. First thing is cost. Like, if your business is really small, there is no point uh, internet service provider. You do not have to spend a lot of lakhs. So you should really start with a smaller ISP so as to take care and keep the idea of cost in your mind. Downtime. You should ensure that the ISP does not have a lot of downtime, because downtime means breaking of the site. Suppose a customer, you have a lot of consumers or users on your site who are trying to browse, and suddenly there's a downtime on the ISP. So all of these users will lose the existing data. If they were searching for specific products, they will lose the entire search results. But although they will have whatever they had in the cart, but a downtime will be a bad user experience. Quality of backup systems. As we spoke about the downtime, the next thing comes in our head is a backup system. In case of a downtime, if there is no backup system, it's a no-no. It has to be have a good backup system in case of a downtime, and that is how you choose an internet service provider. Capacity for hosting sites. Now, if you have a small site, you should go for a smaller internet service provider and not invest a lot of money or a lot of capacity. Choose the best internet service provider for you. Okay, so now we have selected our internet service provider and we're ready to build a site which is in-house. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? First major advantage is that you have a complete control over the site. You decide the design, you decide the operations, you decide the money, you decide how the maintenance is to be done. So you have a complete control over the site. But this also means that, one person cannot be good at designing and also the operations or the maintenance part. So you try and hire more people, maybe one person for designing, one person who takes care of all the conversions, one person who tracks the success of your e-commerce site. So the disadvantage is the cost of the hiring staff, because as you grow in the e-commerce company, the more people you will need, because alone you will not be able to do everything, because as the customers or the users of your website increase, it gets even more difficult. Key points for designing a website. Okay, so now we have the internet service provider. We have decided to build a site in house. So what are the key points for designing a website? So um, the domain name. First, the domain name. Now, I suppose I have a shop which has a lot of okay, so which probably has a lot of clothes, and I decide to open a website for this. Now, the domain name should be related to clothing. It should be and it should have a logo which is related to clothing, and it should be easy to spell. Now, the first thing that should now suppose I'm a new user who has shopped from this new website, and I have to tell my friends about it, that I bought it from abc.com and it was really good. Now, abc.com should be matching with what they sell. Now, if they sell dresses, it should say dress.com. amazingdress.com, cooldress.com, or something like that. So, as I said, this domain name should be easy to find and it should be easy to remember. And you should follow a simple design. A site should look neat. It should not have a lot of information that the customer or the user gets confused. So, follow a simple design. Establish hyperlinks with other businesses. Understand what are the other businesses. If I am a dress seller, I could probably be on Amazon and have a hyperlink with other business, like request Amazon to for a paid advertisement where Amazon will advertise for mydress.com. Include an email option and telephone number on your site. As I said, this is more of a customer support, and this will help you get a feedback on the site. So always include an email option and telephone number on your site. Give shoppers the ability to track the products. One of the major advantages of an e-commerce is that the customer knows where the product is. So make sure you have this option so that the users can track their products. Provide quick feedback forms to the customers to make your site more user friendly. That is pretty self-explanatory. Ensure that the online transactions are secure. So this is one of the disadvantages of e-commerce, where people are scared of doing a transaction online with so many people coming in, with so many frauds happening. It is very important that we ensure that online transactions are secure. Strategies for e-success. So consider focusing on a market niche. You should know, by market niche, I mean that you should know what your product is, what you're going to sell. You should understand your market. You should attract visitors by giving away freebies. Initially, you can tell them that, if you buy one product, I will give you one free. Or if you buy one product, the next time you shop, I'll give you a 50% off. So you should start attracting your visitors like that. Make creative use of email, but avoid being a spammer. Now, if I get a lot of these emails from different sites saying, this is a new product, this is a new product, initially I am kind of interested, but later I don't even look at those emails. So try and understand what that particular user is looking for and send them only related emails. Don't send them all the emails at once. Make the most of web's global reach. Now, internet is globally available. Make the most out of it. Understand that you can market your e-commerce website very easily using the internet. Promote your site online and offline. Online, you can market your site, you can have paid advertisements, and offline, you can have brochures. You can make you can tell people that if you refer your friends, we're going to give you a 50% off. So even that is a kind of marketing which is offline. Tracking web results. So this is very important. So now you have a site ready. The next thing is to track how your site is doing. So there are various tools that can help you track on how your site is doing. Uh, Two tools are click density analysis and web beacons. Uh, these two tools measure these particular key metrics. First is unique visits. So this one will, it will tell you about how many visits have happened in a day or in a month or over the course of 2 to 3 months. This will help you understand what is the trend. Like with COVID-19, a lot of people have been searching for masks and sanitizers online. So the unique visits will tell you that people have been searching for masks and sanitizer. Page views. Page views will tell you about how many visits have happened on a page. Like if a specific product, let's say it's a hand wash. It's a Savlon hand wash. So a lot of people, it will, the analytics will show you that the Savlon hand wash has been the most visited page. So you know that this particular product is doing well. Faulty pages. Faulty pages are when you search for something, but when you click on it, you see that the product is out of stock. So you get disappointed because you like that product, you clicked on that product and it says it is out of stock. So now the analytic these tools will also tell you that these are the products that were clicked by the customer, but then they closed the site after that. So you can improve on that. You can, if a product is out of stock, you can have a notification like, tell me when it is in stock, so it will keep the customer engaged. Bounce rate. By bounce rate, I mean, the amount of times that a search did not return any results. So it will tell you about the search which did not return any results. It will also tell you that how many people have searched for that particular query. Now, suppose I am selling dress, but people expect my site to have a mask. So they're looking for face mask. But my site does not have a mask and it returns zero results. So I realized that people are trying to look for masks on my site. So I can go to another person who sells masks. I can have a deal with him and start selling masks on my site. This is how the tracking will help me improve my revenue. Stickiness. Stickiness tells you about how much time a person has spent on a particular page. Site entry points. Site entry points is, it will tell you from where people have reached to our site. If it was a paid advertisement, or if it was from Google, or if it was from a different site altogether. So we can understand where people are coming to our site from. Conversion rate. Conversion rate is, if you like a product, you add it to a cart, but it is not always that you buy that product. Whenever a person adds to cart and buys that product, that is a good conversion. So it will tell you about the percentage of the times that a person web uh, web privacy is present. Now, what is web privacy? Like we spoke about Facebook some time back. You have to let the people know that, I'm going to take so and so specific details from you, and I will not take any more details. So, take an inventory of the customer data collected, develop a company policy for the information you collect, post your company's privacy policy on the site, and follow it. Ensuring web security. Now, web security is very important because there are a lot of online transactions. You do not want somebody to be phishing on your site and taking your users' important or card details. So, you really need to ensure that there is a good web security. So, you should make sure that there is a web virus detection software, and intrusion detection software, and a good firewall. Coming to COVID-19 impact on e-commerce. Now, there have been, like with COVID-19, a lot of people have been staying home, and a lot of shops and stores have been, shut down. So, so this has led to a good change. Like a few things have been going up. Like, the normal groceries have been rising. The amount of people who are buying groceries online has been rising, whereas the amount of clothes that people are buying has been going low, because I think people are thinking that anyway I don't have to go out, why do I have to buy clothes? But the groceries, people don't want to go out to buy groceries. That's why e-commerce for groceries has been increasing. The significance of this crisis will likely have a lasting impact on how, what, and what we buy. So, right now, with stores closed, the groceries and everything have been rising, but we don't know. Like maybe in 2 to 3 months, everything might just get back to normal. So, we can't say how the trend is going to be with COVID-19 impact. So, this is from the Bloomreach data. We have a lot of US and Europe customers who are on grocery, apparel, home, B2B, and luxury. By luxury, I mean very expensive brands like Gucci and other brands. So we have seen the trend, like this is a trend from December to the April. And as you can see that home furnishings and DIY. DIY is do it yourself. Like you will get things at home and you want to, like art and craft. So that was probably, it was ranked second lowest, at least at the beginning of the year, and right now it is at the highest. with with people staying at home, they are investing their time and money in art and craft and doing creative things, and that is why the graph kind of really rose. And the next is a B2B. So this is a B2B business in general. It has kind of remained constant. Then you can see a good increase in the sales of a grocery around Feb, which is, I think, when the COVID-19 had just begun. The groceries had actually hit a down rate because people had started to go to stores. You would have heard that people in US started to go to stores and started buying a lot of toilet papers and everything. So that was the time where e-commerce hit, for the grocery, hit a really low rate. But after the shutdown of the stores, people are only relying on e-commerce. Then comes the apparel. The clothing has been doing decently well, and the least is luxury. Now, for all these expensive brands, nobody wants to spend on expensive brands right now. Also, one more thing with expensive brand is that you want to go to the store and check it, because you spend a lot of money expecting that this is going to be an expensive brand, but you get a local quality. So people have stopped investing on expensive brands. So this was digital sales since for the COVID-19, and this is the digital traffic. By traffic, I mean the amount of people who have been visiting these sites. Excuse me. So if you can see that although the sales have been okay, but the amount of visits for a grocery store has increased tremendously. Next is art and craft, home furnishings. Next is the apparel. Then is the B2B. And finally, the luxury. Luxury, as you can see, has always been like this because it's very difficult to get a user to trust on a luxury item or over an e-commerce site. Now, with COVID-19, what are the strategies to ensure that customer keeps shopping online? First, you have to assess the current state of your website. You have to understand how your website is doing. If for based on COVID-19 situation, you have to understand if the website is doing well. If it is, then you have to analyze what I can do to keep it going. You have to build out an SEO strategy. You have to ensure that the search engine optimization is the best. Whenever somebody searches for something, your the site name or your site should be definitely in the Google results so that people keep coming to your site. See the Google snack pack. Now, what is a Google snack pack? If you can see here, you would have noticed every time you search something on Google, you will see a few results come up on top of the page automatically. This is called a Google snack pack. Now, excuse me, there are multiple reasons why these sites are present on the Google snack pack. One reason being maybe they have paid a lot of money, but the other reason is that this site is the most relevant, and that is why it is on top of the Google's page. So try and include as many keywords as possible in your site so that Google identifies you as most relevant and makes your site the Google snack pack. Create variety of content. So now with COVID-19, ensure that you understand what the customer's requirements are. The customer is not looking for any hi-fi uh, brands or mm, anything like that. The customer with COVID-19 is looking for very basic amenities like groceries and stuff. So even if you have a different business altogether, to make more revenue, you can involve a variety of content. You can also involve masks, you can involve hand sanitizers, hand washes to keep your site going. Integrate social media. Social media is a very powerful tool to, focus on e-commerce. Now, the best way to market about your e-commerce site is using social media. You can put your ads on Instagram, you can put your ads on Facebook, you can, you know, if you have an app, you can have a condition that, you know, if you share it with 5 friends on Facebook, we will give you so and so reward points. So always try and integrate with the social media for your marketing strategy. Personalize the site. By personalization, I mean understand the trend. As I said about the mask and everything, you know, if you realize that a lot of people are looking for mask on your site, you can personalize the site in a way that as soon as somebody opens your site, the first thing they see is um sale on masks. So that will kind of attract a user saying, you know, you have kind of read the user's mind. Now, user wanted to buy a mask, and the first thing he opens the site and sees is sale on masks. So obviously, he will click on that banner, and then he will see the list of masks that are on your site. So always personalize the site based on the user requirements. It's going to generate a lot of revenue for you. That's it from me. If there are any questions, I will be happy to help.
Divya, very nice presentation. Good clarity of thoughts also.
Thank you.
And I remember you showing one slide in the initial about the data of amount of business, volume of business that is happening online.
Yes.
So, what is your prediction on see, as I understand, the number of users using internet is very very minimum,
Right.
considering the population of our country. Maximum, how many people will be using? 30 crore people.
Yes, sir. Easily.
Uh, yeah, in that, how many people are going to use online trading? Again, it will be maybe only 50%. In that itself, so much money is involved.
Yes, sir.
So with 5G in the pipeline, I think online business is going to have a big boom.
That's true. Yes.
So now, should we concentrate on developing websites, or we should be concentrating on the mobile app?
Sir, if we have a comparison, I think people are moving towards the mobile apps more now. So initially, when there were websites, it was easier. Like, you know, it that was just when the internet has had begun. So people knew that, okay, if I do www.google.com, I can do this. That was just the initial phase. And that is when it took some time from people to move from Google to a specific site. Like if I want something from Amazon, then I go to www.amazon.in. Then then people realized, oh, there is an application. Now I just have to pick my phone and, you know, start searching for something, and I can, it's so much easier. And people are on on phone all the time. So yes, if I were to say, I think developing an app is going to be so much easier and so much more revenue generating than the websites.
Okay. Any other questions students can raise if you have? I still remember the project batch of Divya. They were 4 members. Day one, they came to meet me, and I was asking a very simple and straight question: are you really interested, serious about your project? Then they went out. They had a chat. They came back and they told, "Yes, sir, we are very much interested and we are into it." Because the first question I pose to the students is, if you are really interested, I will spend more time. If you are not interested, I will not spend any time. And they told they are very much interested, and they proved that also. And in their batch, I think Divya, your batch only scored the most, and the external
Yes.
examiner was all praise about this batch. They know each and every line of code in their project. For your information, they were very clear about that. So she has a very good attitude, and that is why she is in a good position now. I appeal to all other students present here to have that kind of attitude. As a student, we will be playful, but still, when it matters, we should be up to the music. Any other question from students?
Guys, if you have any questions on, you know, development, testing, support, anything, you can ask me. if you want to, have any, if you have any questions on applying for a job, if you want to know what you need to study, anything you can ask me.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am. For create a particular website, we have to pay some particular money or no need, no, ma'am.
Okay, so there are a lot of places where you can create your own domain.
I
Like
create
this.
your own logo, create your own website, create a logo, everything. We have to pay money or no need, no, ma'am.
For creating your website, like creating your domain, you don't have to pay any money. Logo also, but when you are making it, when you're making your site as private, like you have to have a copyright of
We,
your site.
if, okay.
Like, suppose I cannot create one more Amazon.com because Amazon already has a copyright. So you will have to pay for that. Now, designing of your website,
If you
if
create an application also, we have to pay money, ma'am.
no, application is free. So the application
Free,
you
ma'am.
will not have to pay. But again, you will have to have a copyright of the application. For that, you will have to pay.
Now it is trending on the ma'am e-commerce site website is trending.
Yes, it is kind of trending a lot. So it is best to if any of you are planning to do masters, and if you have not thought of what to do it in, I think one of your subjects should be e-commerce, because it is on this is only going to grow a lot in future.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I want to ask something about that payment websites. Like, I mean, while doing
Okay.
a payment, how can we create that links? Like, we see many payment websites like build us linking to our payment options.
Yes, yes.
Do we need to pay for that also?
Yes,
Or
you will have to pay. So what happens is when you integrate your website with Bill Desk, they don't charge you money for the integration, but they charge for every transaction that happens. They charge a percentage of money. Does that answer your question, Deepak?
uh, and one more thing, how can we set up those payment links? Like, do we need to apply for that and have a verification? Do we have to need a license or something like
You are talking about
for our?
paperwork, Deepak?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, so you will definitely need some licenses. Along with that, not a lot of, as I said, if you're integrating Build Desk with your site, you may or may not have to pay. Even if you have to pay, it's going to be very less. But most of the money will go in the amount of transactions. So every time a user from add to cart says that, proceed to buy, and the Build Desk API or Build Desk comes up, that is the time. And if I have made a transaction of 100 rupees, maybe 1%, like, or 2% will go to bill desk. So that there's not a lot of in money that you have to pay from your pocket, but there is a lot of profit of yours that will go to bill desk.
Anybody else? Saravanan? Dr. Saravanan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can proceed.
On behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, KARE, so I would like to thank the resource person for immediately accepting the invitation for the webinar and giving a nice presentation on the topic entrepreneurship in e-commerce. So I assure that the students got some valuable information about e-commerce. So I hope that the similar kind of support will expect in the future. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. And if you guys still have any questions, anything, you can always look for me on LinkedIn. Uh, I'm Divya Singh. I work for Bloomreach, and you can drop me a LinkedIn message. I will be very happy to help you. Even if you have any career-related questions or anything, I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you, Divya. Very kind of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care.
Have a good weekend and stay safe.
You too. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.